Hey guys, in this video just going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to go down to my local supermarket and I'm going to see what art supplies I can get super cheap and see if we can make a video out of it. So let's get going. So I'm back at my desk now. I got these pens. These are just some felt tip pens from Asda. I think Asda are owned by Walmart if you're in America, so it's probably very similar. You could probably get pens like this pretty much the equivalent at any supermarket. But these work out, it's 24 pens for £1, so it's basically just over 4 pence for each one. So I'm just going to speed this bit up now whilst I create a quick colour swatch, just so you guys can see the colour, and then I'm going to just have a play around, see if we can layer these up. I'm guessing they're not blendable or anything like that, but we can give it a go. Okay, so we've done our colour swatch. There's actually some pretty nice colours. Some of them went down really well, and some of them, like the skin tone one, was really dry and quite a thin nib. Well, the same size nib, but it gave the feeling of it being really thin. So that's going to be difficult. I think it's going to be difficult to actually block in a colour. I'm going to try that quickly now, because it feels like when you go back over it to block in any gaps, it does darken it. Can you see that there? Hopefully that shows on camera. So in a sense you could argue you can layer it, but if you can see that I'm working quite small here. Let me try this with a different pencil, different pen even. Problem is, it does bring up the paper quite quickly. I'm using regular sort of cheap printer paper for this. You can see there only the second layer, and I can feel under this it's bringing loads up, loads of the paper. So yeah, it is cheap printer paper, but I think if you're buying 4p felt tip pens, you're probably not going to be spending a fortune on the paper. So I figured this was the best way to do it. You could argue that you can get one layer of maybe a higher, sort of better shade, so it does go darker, but yeah, you're sacrificing bringing up the page, so it's going to be very risky. There's probably no point testing if they'll blend, but I'm going to anyway. But yeah, you can feel the thicker you lay it on, the more it brings the paper up straight away. Blendability, it's actually not as bad as I thought, but again, it brings the paper up with it, as to be expected. One of the downsides for me is I've printed something that I was going to colour. If I do this skin tone, I'm not going to be able to put this as shading because I think it's too dark. Let's try that quickly. So going in with the darker, the next tone. Yeah, turns it almost red. Okay, so shading might not even be much of an option. So ordinarily with like markers and stuff, I would put down my light colour all over, and then I would add a shaded area and I'd put that in a darker marker. With this, it's just going to bring the page up, so I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to shade or if I'm just going to have to sort of leave the areas blank where I'm going to shade. We'll give it a go. Okay, so I came up with this piece. I've used a few different references for this. I'll put links in the description to what I used. I've drawn this out in Photoshop and then I've printed it off so that I've got a few copies in case I mess it up. But also, I didn't realise at the time, this paper isn't actually quite the same. I printed this at work. This paper's probably even cheaper. I have no idea how this is going to take to the inks, but we'll give it a go. So I'm going to speed this up now. Wish me luck. So I'm just stopping the video here, wasn't planning on it, but I just want to show you just the skin tone on its own. Really pretty bad. The colour itself isn't bad, but the way it goes down, it just looks like I can't colour. maybe I can't, but yeah, it's really bad. I've tried to apply a bit of shading, a bit risky, but yeah, it doesn't go down in blocks. But this skin tone really does feel really dried out, so I don't know if I've just got a bad batch or if this colour's always like that. But yeah, it definitely looks like she's got some sort of weird skin condition. But we'll carry on. So the point I am at now, I've done the hair, the eyes, the lips and the gun. I'm not gonna lie guys, it's not getting any easier. I'm not great at colouring hair as it is, and using these pens makes it even more difficult. As well as that, I was joking about not being able to colour in the lines, but there is so many areas that I have managed to just go out massively. These pens are awful to control. Yeah, they're not great. They are only 4p a pen, and they are pretty much what you would expect. The black ain't too bad though. This is about as far as I'm going to be able to get, I think, with these coloured felt tip pens. I'm definitely not going to be getting any jobs as a fashion designer with these colour choices. I was trying to use the greens and stuff just because there seem to be a lot of greens in the pack. Yeah, not great. It took me an awful long time to actually colour this, a lot longer than it would have done with other pens. They are not good for filling in areas, and you can see everywhere where the lines, you can fill in like one block and then you have to move to the next block and it overlaps and it leaves a darker area. Yeah, you're pretty limited with these, so these are probably only going to be any good for kids to use, to be honest. If you're an artist, they're probably not going to be much good for you. I think we could have probably guessed, but I wanted to test them anyway, and I'm thinking that I'm just going to go over this with a fine liner, maybe put in some highlights for the eyes and things, just to neaten the image off a little bit. But obviously this is how it looks. This is as far as I got with just the pens. So now I'm going to use some different pens to finish it off. I'm going to leave it at that now. So I've just gone over it with some Faber-Castell fine liners and a Jelly Roll highlight. It hasn't made a huge bit of difference, but it's just neatened it up a little bit. So overall, these pens, pretty shocking. Pretty much what you would expect for a 4p felt tip. Honestly, pretty poor job of colouring on my end. Find these really difficult to use. They don't layer, obviously they don't blend. This is only printed paper. Maybe I would have got different results with other paper, I'm not sure. But yeah, wouldn't really recommend these pens. So was there anything good about them? They only cost £1. In all fairness, the colour range is nice, but it's definitely more a kid's pen. Save your £1 and put it towards something a little bit better. I did enjoy making this though. Let me know if you noticed any other supplies at the beginning of the video that you want me to test out, or if there's anything specific you've got in mind. As always, if you did enjoy the video, make sure you leave me a comment below, hit the thumbs up button, and be sure to subscribe for more content. Thanks for watching everyone.